Bill Haston, Tulsa World. Barry Lewis, Tulsa World. We are with Josh Blankenship, the new head football coach at Broken Arrow. Josh, when this possibility was first presented to you, as a guy who has competed against Broken Arrow so many times as a player and an assistant coach, what was your interest level immediate or a little more gradual than that?
It was gradual, mainly because I wasn't looking for anything. Once I met all the people, obviously some people that I had, crossed paths with in the past, some familiar relationships. But once I got in the room and met everybody, for me, it was over. The amount of support, the desire to be something special. But it was gradual. I was fishing a little bit, not sure it was something that I was truly interested in, and the people blew me away.
The facility there, had you toured it before? Had you seen it or toured it? And what's your impression of Broken Arrow with regard to being outfitted with what you need to win more championships?
Yeah, the facilities are insane. Now, I didn't go on a tour, but I am familiar with what they have over there, and it's top in the country. I mean, a lot of places, even at the collegiate level, can't compete with that. And it is a unique and special place, and that certainly was appealing. But I still will go back to this probably a dozen times. It was all about the people for me. And that was really the deal.
Barry?
How would you compare your readiness for the Broken Arrow position now compared to 10 years ago when you became head coach at Muskogee?
I would have told you I was ready for the Muskogee job 10 years ago. I don't know that I was. I feel more equipped, more seasoned, more experienced. And there's no substitute for experience, and you learn that and you tell that to your players. That until you get reps, they're really not going to grow the way they can grow until they're in the fire. So I feel much more prepared and much more equipped for this opportunity for sure.
Obviously, you had a lot of success. You've had a lot of success throughout your career in developing quarterbacks at the high school and college level. In the interview process with Broken Arrow obviously has not had a lot of success developing homegrown quarterbacks over the past few years. Was that brought up at all during your interviews? And how do you approach that?
Well, I'll approach it like I always have. You got to start as young as possible and make it kind of almost a tradition of greatness at that position. I would love for Broken Arrow to be known as a quarterback factory, as well as every other position. But no, it didn't. It really didn't come up much in the interview process. It was a lot more conversation about philosophy, approach, things of that nature more than football. I think they knew enough about me on the football side of things that it didn't need. I mean, they're football people, so I don't think they had a lot of questions to be answered on that side of things.
Josh, you played for your dad, Bill Blankenship, at Union. You coached with your dad at TU. You guys are. It's been a million hours talking football, and so at whatever point you talked with Bill about this Broken Arrow possibility, was it? Did you speak with him more as a dad or as a colleague, or 50-50?
Probably dad. We go and we usually stay with them for Christmas for a couple of weeks. They've got a pretty cool spread out there where all the kids can go nuts, and then they got a bunch of rooms upstairs where we can kind of have our own apartment upstairs, in the evenings. But we sat down in the living room talking on the couch for a long, long time. Mom also, and honestly, mom probably brought the thunder more than dad did as far as the wisdom goes. It was, but it was a neat thing to be able to lean on them, and then obviously with my wife Lindsay there as well. And I actually took her to the second interview because I wanted her to see what I saw, and then I know I'd get the job if I brought her. So
you got your DNA has so much of Union, Jinx, Tulsa area high school football. I found out yesterday your wife is a Jinx woman. Is that right? A Jinx girl? And
yep.
So now your dad is back into it at Owasso. You were at the front end of what has become an amazing high school football culture in this market. So are you blown away a little bit that you are now at one of the big dog programs as the head man, coming back in to do that?
I am blown away. First of all, my wife did cheer against me. She was a cheerleader at Jinx in the state championship. So while I was crying, she was cheering. But no, I'm more blown away by the opportunity that I get to bring my kids back to this area. There's been a lot of reflection and nostalgia, but I was the same age as my oldest boy, Barrett, when Dad came to Union, going into 6th grade. And to think of the opportunities that my brothers and I were able to have in that environment is, it's incredible. And to think that I can bring my kids back to something like that. I've probably spent more time reflecting on the opportunity that I'm able to provide for my family here than anything else, because I thought after the last stint at University of Tulsa, I honestly didn't think there was a realistic chance that I would be back in Oklahoma once I left. Kind of the natural progression as you develop your network wherever you are. If I was a guessing or betting man, I would have thought I would probably move further out west. Not because I wanted to get away. It was just just kind of the nature of the business. So this blows me away. And the size of the job, I'm fully aware. And the magnitude of the job, I'm fully aware. But I'm so excited that my family gets to come back to the Tulsa area.
Okay, so Josh, you'll go head to head with your dad. And I talked with Bill yesterday. He said, I think we'll be great with it in the pregame, and the build up to it, we'll have fun with it. He said, I don't know how it's going to feel post game. And I said, what about Angie Blankenship? And he said, I think she'll possibly struggle with that part of it. Was that part of that sofa discussion you guys had at Christmas? Did that part of it come up, or was Angie able to kind of disconnect emotionally from it and just kind of counsel you professionally and worry about the emotional stuff later?
She was able to disconnect in the moment. I think once it became real, then the funny conversations, started popping up, like we better get our family photos pregame because somebody's getting knocked out postgame.
Right.
But then mom at one point said she was going to sit down in the end zone with her chair straddling the middle of the field. So I don't know. I think of all the stories about the Gundys and some really cool stuff that the moms had to deal with. And I think right now it's very lighthearted. We're just so excited that we haven't really gotten too serious about, how competitive this would be. Dad likes to reflect back on when his dad and his uncle, one at Spiro, one at Poto. They'd play each other every year. That was a big rivalry. And then after they played, then they'd get together and watch film and scheme up everybody else together. So maybe that could happen.
So Bill Blankenship and Alan Trimble took the highest level of Oklahoma high school football to a higher level. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's undeniable. So you talk about the magnitude of the Broken Arrow job and the magnitude of the challenge, but to be Bill Blankenship's son and now to be in that club, contending at that highest level of the highest level for a championship. I mean, are you I mean, maybe that's part of what you said you're blown away by, is that part of it too. But just the fact that your dad and Alan Trimble kind of, in a rivalry sense, took Oklahoma high school football to a different place, and now you're at that place. Has that part of it really registered with you?
No, and I don't mean to diminish what Dad and Coach Trimble did, because they did something unbelievable. I'm just more excited about the people I'm going to get to work with, and bringing my family back home. It's not lost on me how big of a deal it is, but that's for you guys and the fans out there and other people to talk about and kind of think about. I just see it as an unbelievable opportunity. Period. I mean, Broken Arrow is a phenomenal place, and I didn't know how good of a place it was until I met all the people that I met. Dr. Vinson was unbelievable, and she's so sincere in what she wants to get done in that district. And then obviously Chuck Perry and Coach Dunn and Coach Melton, and I guess it's Mrs. Snyder now. We went to high school together, but they've got a vision for something really special there, and they want to support the head coach in any way that they can, and that floored me. That was awesome to experience them communicating that.
Do you know, do you have any idea how many staff members are going to stay on with you, or how many that you're going to bring in?
I don't know that yet. Like you guys know, I'm getting down there for the official meeting and press conference on Friday, and then I'm going to stay for at least a week. Lindsay and the kids are going to drive back so the kids can get back to school, but I'm going to take inventory of everybody that's there. I'm going to meet with everybody, but I'm not coming in with any assumptions either way that I'm going to come blow everything up or leave everything the same. I just want to come in and get to know what's going on and who everybody is all about.
And have you obviously Broken Arrow's got considerable amount of talent returning. Have you been able to study up on any of those players at all, or?
A little bit, just what's available, and then what we definitely talked a little bit about that. Coach Dunn and I, he's a football junkie, so he can't help but talk to me about the guys that we have, and I'm just a firsthand kind of guy. Like, I want to see it all for myself, and so I'm excited to get there and get around the guys on Friday and then the following week.
Will your family move will you get your family moved here as quickly as possible, or did you give any thought to letting your kids finish the semester in Colorado, or how will you play that?
So it's God's going to have to pull off some pretty complicated things here. We've got 3 foster kids in addition to our 4 bio kids. We're currently rocking with 7. God bless my wife. She thinks she wants to stay back and let them finish school, and then obviously trying to figure out what happens with the foster kiddos. It's always a question of what kind of permanency, whether we're going to adopt or, whether they find kinship or a bio parent gets better and they go back. So there's a lot of stuff for us to figure out. We got a couple businesses here in town that we got to tie a bow on and figure out how we're going to transition. But I'm planning on being there right away. And then as soon as we can get, the house sold and all the things that got to get done, then Lindsay and the kids will be in Broken Arrow with me ASAP.
So you were 11. you were 11 when Bill got that job? In
I
your old,
guess whatever grade going into 6th grade is, yeah.
so you were, so you're up, you're in the Jinx Union football universe as a high school guy. You're at TU at 20 as a quarterback. You're at Union as a play caller at 30, and now you're a head coach at Broken Arrow at 40. I mean, if I had told you all that at any point in your football journey, I don't know if you laugh or if you just say that's awesome or how you would react to that, but that's quite a path.
It's Lindsay and I talk about this all the time. Like the more you let God take control, you can't predict the script. It's just what a crazy ride. And you know, I guess I'm about the age or close to the age that Dad was when he took the union job, and how much has happened since Dad took the union job. So who knows where we're going to be in another 30 years. I mean, it's wild.
And you're making this unbelievable move. And by unbelievable, I mean professionally and geographically and with 7 kids to consider during a pandemic. So that's the part of this too that adds a layer that you will never forget, a unique one.
In a good one. And it's not also lost on me that they officially offered me the job on the 1st of January in 2021. What a change from what 2020 was, and just pretty cool deal.